Muy buenas tardes, o muy buenas noches, o muy buenos días. Depende a qué hora estén viendo, escuchando esta grabación. Uh, I want to welcome all of you, thank all of you for tuning in and watching this little presentation concerning some special days that we're having in September and that are part of our celebration calendar. Okay, I'm going to use a chart, and most of the image on the screen will be that chart. Let me just make it an adjustment here. Okay, this is a chart. Now, what you see here is the Earth orbiting the Sun. And this is the Earth right here, and it's orbiting around the Sun. Okay, now right now we're about to end a time period, a season called summer. Summer begins right here in this position, and as you can see, I've divided the Earth in half. This is an imaginary line. It's called the equator, and that's dividing the Earth in half in relation to the Sun. So right now we are right here on Earth, this little dot, and as you can see, because of the way the Earth is tilted, we get a lot of sunlight. The people on this side of the Earth don't get as much. So for us, this is the beginning of summer. For the people on this side of the Earth, it is the beginning of the opposite of winter. But here we are. We started in summer, as you can remember, very hot. And right now we're about over here. We're almost at the end of summer. And when we get to this point on September 22nd, as you can see, the equator will be right in alignment with the sun. We'll be right here. And what will happen is that on that day and night will be equal, will be the same. There will be the same amount of darkness as there is of daylight. That's why the beginning of fall or the end of summer is called the fall equinox. Equi means equal. So on that day, on September 22nd, the amount of daylight and the amount of nighttime will be the same. And after that, nights will start to get longer. In the Tonal Machiotl, this day is called the Papalot. Yowal means night, and Papalot means butterfly, and that's because night and day are equal, and the butterfly represents when something is divided in half. So the Yowal Papalot begins here, where night and day are equal, and then the nights, that's why it's Yowal, because Yowal means night. The nights begin getting longer. And then we'll enter here, and when we get to this position, you see, we'll be on this side of the Earth, and the people on this side of the Earth will get most of the sunlight, and we're going to get less sunlight, and that's why it's going to be colder, and that's why it's the beginning of winter. This is called, on December 21st, this is called the winter solstice. The winter solstice. And in the Tonal Machiotl, that's called the Ilhuicamatiliztli or Ilhuicamatiliztli. That's the day of Huitzilopochtli. Huitzilopochtli means the hummingbird that leans to the left. You see, it leans to the left. And at that time, the sun is leaning to the left in the horizon. So, and we're going to be getting not as much sunlight, and winter will start. But after winter, the days will start getting longer, a little longer, and then we'll enter the spring equinox. And on the spring equinox, which is on March 20th, again, on that day, and that's called the Tlanesh Papalot, or Tlanesh means the morning or the sunlight, and Papalot is butterfly. That means that after this day, the days are going to be getting longer. But for that day on March 20th, the day and the amount of daylight and sunlight, daylight and nighttime will be equal, will be the same. Okay, this is called the spring equinox. Again, equal. And then the Earth will continue, and then it'll be summer again, when the Earth is going to be tilted in a way where we receive much of the sunlight. All right. Now, there's something also that you need to know about these positions of Earth and Sun. After September 22nd, 13 days after September 22nd, will be in a special position, or the Earth will be in a special position. And the special position is this. Okay, I'm going to tell you in just a minute. But first, let me tell you about the other special positions. This is the beginning of winter, the winter solstice. 13 days after the winter solstice, okay, the Earth will be closest to the sun. It'll be the closest to the sun. When the Earth gets over here to summer, 13 days after the summer solstice, on June 20th, 13 days after the summer solstice, the Earth will be the farthest away from the sun. See, you can see that this position is closer to the sun. This position is farther. Now, some people may say, well, why is it that when the Earth is farther away from the sun, it's hotter, and when the Earth is closer to the sun, it's colder? Well, that's because the temperature on Earth is not determined by the distance of the Earth to the sun. It's determined by what I told you, this tilt, this dividing of the Earth in half. That's what determines hot or cold, not the distance. The distance is not enough to make a difference. Now, one special position, these positions here and this one here, if you go in the NASA website, you'll find these positions. They're called the aphelion and the perihelion. All right. And you can go on the NASA website or even on Google and go perihelion, Perehelion, or aphelion, Aphelion, and you'll find, and they'll tell you what those are. Those are the positions, these two positions right here. But if you go into the NASA website, or if you go into Google website, you're not going to find these positions, these other special positions. Even though they are in the Tonal Machiotl, they are in the Aztec calendar, but they're not known to Western astronomy, in other words, to the astronomy that NASA uses. But the one we use in the Tonal Machiotl, it is known. 13 days after the fall equinox, the Earth is the same distance. In other words, the distance from here to the sun is the same as 13 days after the spring equinox. So the distance between here and here are the same. And those are called equihelions. Equihelion. You can Google that. You can go in the NASA website. They don't know about it. Okay. But thousands of years ago, when the Aztec calendar was constructed, they knew about these two special positions. So as we get close to the fall equinox on September 22nd. Let's celebrate the Yohualpapalot, when daylight and nighttime will be equal. But let's also celebrate 13 days after the Equihelion, the Equihelion after fall. All right. And these two dates are on our school, Raíces del Saber Xinachli Community School calendar. So I hope you do more research in Google or in NASA about astronomy, about the Earth going around the sun, because it's like the Earth and the sun are in a dance. They're dancing around each other, because the sun is also moving. The sun isn't just standing still; it is moving through space, and it's circling the galaxy. And as the sun circles the galaxy, the Earth goes around the sun. And as the Earth and the sun go around the galaxy, the moon goes around the Earth. So it's like a three-partner dance. Anyway, astronomy is a fascinating subject. There's lots of information that the Aztec Calendar or the Tonal Machiotl has about astronomy, and there's lots of information that NASA has about astronomy, or just Google, or just find information on YouTube even. Anyway, I hope this has been informative for you. I'm sure your teachers will guide you a little further on what all of this means. All right. So, Tiawi, and we'll see you around campus.